Hello, welcome back, students. Uh, Once again, welcome to the paper on non-conventional sources of energy. As I told in the last class, today we will begin with a new chapter. The chapter title is Biomass and Energy. Okay, so here we will be discussing what is actually biomass, how they are classified, and how from biomass how we can derive extract energy, either heat energy or electrical energy. So this is the main content of this chapter. We have to begin with the main points of the syllabus. So first it consists of introduction to biomass. Okay, so what does biomass means and how they are classified in different ways, and methods of obtaining energy from biomass. Different methods are there that will be discussed in brief, and these methods, okay, there are different methods which can be broadly classified into thermal method, chemical method, and biochemical method. Okay, these are the broad classification of biomass conversion into energy. So first the question arises, what is meant by biomass? Okay, you can define it like this. Is a former definition, organic matter that evolved from both the terrestrial and aquatic plants and animals are collectively called biomass. There are so many definitions given in different books, and this is a very effective, meaningful definition. So that means a biomass consists of or comprises of all materials either obtained from animals or plants. So these animals can be terrestrial animals, or these animals can be of aquatic animals. Similarly, plants. Aquatic means that anything of water origin, either from seas or from rivers or from ponds, lakes like that, and of course terrestrial materials. So conditions are they must be obtained from animals or plants. Okay, there are so many things that you have you in your day-to-day life you come across. It includes forest products, wood, grass, and everything, crops. Okay, and its residues. Residues means once you have harvested the crop, you take the grains out, then the remaining things are all crop residues. That may be dead trees, branches, husk, stumps, everything. Okay, husk means something the coating over a grain. Okay, that is called husk. Maybe wheat husk, maybe rice husk, or maybe corn husk. Anything. All waste product that is remained after separation of the grains. That is called residues, crop residues. So it contains a lot of energy. You can directly burn it out, or you can do certain chemical process, and you can separate. You can make it value-added products. So that we will see very shortly. Or even this include animal excreta, maybe human excreta, or maybe other animal excreta. You can say cow dung is a animal excreta. Okay, and the seeds of many plants, that is also a biomass. The, even coconut is a seed. Out of coconut you can derive coconut oil. Similarly, there are many such seeds from which you can extract oils that can be used for energy deriving purposes. We will see in detail, okay, later. So that means the biomass also include the derivatives made out of it. For example, the coconut shell, the one which we call cherata, that is a derivative. Okay, that is also a biomass. Understand? So that's minimum derivatives. Or when you take oil out of any seed, for example, palm oil. So that is a derivative. So biomass refers to plants or plant-based material that are not used for food or fuel. Okay, this is a condition. Suppose you are using rice or wheat, so that does not come under biomass because that is used for food purpose or feed purposes. Feeding means something given to cattle, so they are not coming under biomass. Anything other than these come under biomass. And the exploitation of energy from biomass has played a key role in the evolution of humankind. So that is an obvious history. All of us very well know how mankind has evolved and what is the role of biomass in the civilization, in the development of society, and in the development of industry and all. Okay, so it's a gradual growth. Okay, you know, during in kitchen, almost say 50 years back, you never used the cooking gas, but in modern kitchen, you are using cooking gas. So many other energy devices, maybe induction cooker, maybe microwave oven. So these technologies were not in the scenario some 50 years back. Okay, so that means the energy technology and the way you are using energy is varying day by day. Okay, okay. So, uh, and biomass can be considered as a renewable source of energy because the plant life renews and adds to itself every year. Suppose you cut some wood. Suppose the wood can regrow after cutting from the stem. It can regrow. So it is a recyclable phenomena, or you can say it is renewable. Suppose you cut the grass, so grass can regrow, and again in the same next year you can again get the harvest. So that is why we call it renewable. Many of the biomass products are renewable. Similarly, cow dung every year, periodically you get it. So and it is not getting depleted. It is not getting finished. That is the meaning of renewable. So it is unlike fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are once used, finished. But that is not the case with the biomass. Every year, for example, you can cultivate soybean, and from soybean you can get a soybean oil. So that is the sense of renewable. Okay, and it is also you can say it is a subdivision of solar energy, because in every biomass solar energy is in fact stored, because photosynthesis is an essential phenomena by which all plant or animal grows. Okay, so you can see it is a another version of solar energy in one form. The first chapter you have learned very well about solar energy, how energy can be derived out of solar energy. But here also, biomass is also produced out of solar energy in one sense, you can say. Okay. So still, it is clear that this is a renewable source of energy, just like solar energy or wind energy. So that idea must be clear. And here are given some typical biomass material. You may get a concrete idea, a very solid idea about what exactly are biomass materials in the modern scenario. So let us see one by one. First one is a fuel wood. Okay, fuel wood means any wood which are not used for other furniture purposes or construction purposes, that you can count as a wood. Normal fuel wood that we are using in the kitchen or in any other workplace, that can be classified as fuel wood. And next is charcoal. Charcoal, you can, you know, it can be derived, can be made out of wood, but by using certain chemical process. So that is the second category. Charcoal is a biomass material. Next is fuel pellets, or also known as briquettes. Okay. So what is fuel pellet? So this is a fuel pellet. How it is made? This is also fuel pellet known as briquettes. They are made out of wastage of wood industries. For example, a carpentry or a sawmill, or from any other wood industry, there will be a lot of wood waste. So this wood waste is crushed, powdered, and made in the form of paste. Okay, and you can mold it into different geometries. You can mold it into different geometries. So you have wood, waste wood, you crush it, powder it, make it paste, add some glue or adhesive, and make into solid forms of different shapes. Okay, so that different shapes are called briquettes, and its heat capacity will be much higher than that of normal wood. Okay, and mainly used in industrial purposes. Industrial heating is done using fuel pellets and briquettes. Okay, Normally for domestic application we don't use it, but for industrial application these fuel pellets and briquettes are used. And the second category is biodiesel. So biodiesel is obtained from plant products like I mean certain plants like Jatropha. Jatropha tree is there, and you can get this is also called Jatropha is also called in colloquial language we call it Kadalavanakku. Okay, Kadalavanakku is called. It is widely cultivated in many states like Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, okay, Madhya Pradesh, this Gujarat, this Jatropha plant is cultivated, and from which we can derive what is called biodiesel. Okay, biodiesel that is shown in the figure here. Biodiesel you can see, and bioethanol is also there. Bioethanol you can get from corn. Okay, corn cultivation, and many other plant crops are also used for converting ethanol. You may be knowing ethanol is mainly derived out of cane juice. Okay, karimbu juice. You may knowing from cane juice usually ethanol is made, but from many other products like potato chips and many other root varieties can make ethanol. And another important biomass material is biogas. And finally, you have syngas. Biogas, it can be obtained from cow dung by proper processing in certain tanks called biogas tanks. We usually get it. Okay, and finally, we have the syngas. We need a detailed study about syngas. Syngas is actually the acronym form of synthetic gas. Synthetic gas is briefly acronymically known as abbreviated known as syngas. So that we will study how syngas is made in detail. It's a very interesting process. So collectively, these are the typical biomass materials used in the modern industrial and domestic purposes. Okay. So biogas we can classify into two generally. One is the traditional solid mass, traditional biomass, which includes wood, agriculture residue, charcoal, etc. It has been there for centuries. Okay, for the last many thousands of years, mankind has been using it. So we classify these biomass into traditional solid mass. Whereas we have the second category that is called non-traditional form. It come under liquid fuels like biodiesel, bioethanol, methanol, syngas, biogas, etc. They come under non-traditional forms. Okay, this way biomass we can classify into two classes. In the previous slide we have seen what are the different biomass. Okay, that will give you a very better understanding about the biomass, what exactly is, and here it is a classification. And you can convert biomass directly into thermal energy. How? Just heat it up. By heating you can convert into thermal energy. That thermal energy you can use for different applications, but that is a very crude method in the sense that it may lead to lot of pollution problem. Okay, lot of other harmful effects. So in modern civilization do not do such combustion. Instead, what they do, they convert this biomass into different other forms so that pollution is minimized. So what the people do? People convert the solid biomass into other value added form, either in the solid form or in the liquid form or into gases form. So let us see how this is done. How we can convert into solid form, how you can convert into liquid form, how you can convert into gas form. Like that we will see shortly. Okay. So what is the advantage? Once you convert the normal raw biomass into refined form, okay, processed form, you can handle it very easily. You can store them easily. You can transport them easily, and you can even burn them easily, or you can convert into electricity very easily. So there are a lot of advantages once you have a processing technique. That means biogas is processed. Just like example of briquettes, I have shown briquettes. Okay, in which wood is powdered, properly made in the form of paste and made in the form of blocks. So once it is made in the form of blocks, you can easily store it. It is dry, so you can store it for a long time, and its heat capacity, its heat efficiency is much higher than that of normal wood. So that is a process. And similarly, you can get biogas out of human excreta or animal excreta. You get biogas. Okay, so this biogas can be stored and you can use it whenever you are in need of energy. So that is what we are going to focus now. Okay, different methods to convert biomass into suitable form. So on the basis of biogas, on the basis of their states. Okay, according to the states, you can classify biomass either into solid, liquid, and gas form. Examples for solids are given here. Wood is an example, straw, briquettes, agro waste. So these are all solid type of biomass. And for liquid case, we have methanol, ethanol. Okay, bioethanol, I have told you. Biodiesel, I have told you. And various vegetable oils are example for biomass. These are all energy sources, in fact. And it is given here, biodiesel from jatropha. Okay, so these are all the liquid form of biomasses. Okay, keep in mind we have not mentioned here petrol, diesel, kerosene, nothing, because they are not coming under uh, non-conventional energy sources. Okay, so that cannot be written here. And when you come to the gas state, biogas in example, okay, and methane, propane, okay, these all we will get from byproduct when you do certain processing on waste, like plastic waste, you can process and you can extract methane, propane, etc. And another one is fuel gas. Okay, I mentioned about syngas, okay, synthetic gas. So that is also called fuel gas. So this way, biomass energy sources you can classify into solid, liquid, and gas also. Okay. And as far as the conversion is concerned, biomass you can convert to energy. So they are broadly classified into wet type of processes and a dry type of process. Wet, what is meant by wet? Wet means some liquid media is required. Okay, liquid media is required. For example, biogas production. That is a example for wet process. And alcohol production from cane juice. Okay, cane, karimbu, you can make into juice, and by certain processes called fermentation, you can produce alcohol. Okay, so similarly from cellulose slurry, you can produce certain biogas. So these are all called wet process because liquid media is required. On the other hand, you have dry processes to get biogas fuel. Example is pyrolysis, liquefaction, gasification. We will study in detail about these in the forthcoming slides. Okay, so I am not discussing in detail. And so biogas conversion is a method by which raw biomass can be upgraded to higher grade fuels by different methods. So we have an advantage. We get value added products. Okay, we are increasing the quality of the fuel material by this conversion process. Understand? So we have a thermal method in which combustion you can do to convert biomass into energy. You have chemical method in which pyrolysis you can do to convert biomass into various other energy forms. Of course, we have gasification. It's a very interesting process. And in biochemical method, you have fermentation, which I mentioned already, and you have digestion process. So we will see all these. These are all interesting area. Even whether you continue with this study or not, in your day-to-day application, these are all very useful. Okay, it will come to your use in your future course of life, at least. After all, the purpose of study of this paper is not to qualify examination. It's also intended to have some application in your life also. So that's the ultimate aim of this paper. Okay. So starting with the direct combustion is the first method. We have gasification method, we have pyrolysis method, and we have digestion method, and finally we have the fermentation method. These are the different methods which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, this is a method to get heat energy or other fuel form, either direct heat energy or getting different other fuel forms. Okay, first direct combustion is a simple method. You just burn anything that you get in a chamber, combustion chamber, with a sufficient amount of oxygen. Okay, when you do that, you get heat energy. You just boil anything, water or any other liquid, you get steam. You can operate your turbine. Very simple method in which you can burn anything. You can either burn wood, you can burn agricultural residues, which I mentioned already, food pulps, also called bagasse. It is nothing but the wastage of a cane. So once you extract the cane juice, what is left is called a bagasse. Okay, bagasse you can burn up, or any municipal solid waste collected from different residential area you can burn and you get heat energy. And one of the problem is that it may lead to pollution. Okay, but the solution has to be minimized with the proper recycling methods, and heat energy can be produced. There are so various plants in India even where direct combustion of waste is used and from which electrical energy is produced, okay, especially in northern part of India. Okay, so next is the gasification method. It's a very interesting process. What is done here is mostly plastic waste. You can say plastic waste or any other wood waste is heated to high temperature in the presence of very little amount of oxygen, not with sufficiently high amount of oxygen. Underline, with a very little amount of oxygen. So when that is done, what happens? All these plastic waste get decomposed. Understand? You know the plastic waste is very major big problem in most of the cities in our country. At a proper temperature, okay, there is definite temperature. When you heat it up, we cannot say it is burning. Heat it up, all the plastic get converted into different component form. Very surprising process. Okay, we usually do what? We simply burn the plastic and we get ashes. But here it is not simple burning. Instead, it is heated at a high temperature under the presence of very little amount of oxygen, limited oxygen. Then what happens? The entire waste material get decomposed. Decompose means getting separated into different components. What are the components? Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, hydrogen, methane. Okay, these are major components. You can separate them. These gases can be collected and filled in cylinders. Such gases, composition of gas are called syngas or synthetic gas. Okay, it is one of the major industry in many developed countries. Okay, this gas can be used to operate high efficiency gas turbines. Okay, there are other generators called gas turbine in which you can directly burn gas and electricity can be produced. Such turbines are called gas turbines. Understand? Where our usual turbine propeller principle is not used. Instead, by direct burning of gas, you can spin some turbines by which electricity can be generated. Okay, don't confuse with the normal turbine. Here gas is directly burned, it will lead to rotation of certain rotor system by which electricity is produced. Okay, in India we have such many plants where gas turbines are operated with plastic waste. Okay, that is first of all decomposed with a certain chemical processes done at high temperature and which give you gases of this kind. You can collect them in cylinders and you can burn them. Okay, so gasification has several advantages over burning solid. One of the most important application is it is pollution free. Okay, pollution free, and you get several gases that can be collected. Okay, this process is schematically shown here. Okay. At high temperature, this plastic is heated. Okay, one of the video I have posted in your WhatsApp, you can see how in China huge plastic is converted into different useful fuel. It's a wonderful process. So that is schematic is shown here. Under suitable temperature, heated without the presence of oxygen. If you presence of oxygen is sufficiently available, it may simply burn, so you will not get the requisite gases. So oxygen should be blocked. Then they decompose and you can separate the gases. Some waste particle will be there here that can be separated out. Okay, so these are the plants actually, and there are different steps involved in gasification actually. Okay, different steps are involved. What are the steps actually? First is dry. That means there will be some liquid. Water will be there. It has to be separated from the this biomass. Understand? So by proper heating, water is removed. Then there is a process called pyrolysis. We will see what is pyrolysis. This is a pyrolysis chamber actually shown here. And then oxidation is done. Then reduction is done. These are the 4 steps involved in gasification. So let us see what is happening. First, drying. So biomass fuel contain 10 to 35% of moisture. When biomass is heated at 100 degrees Celsius, moisture is converted to steam. Okay. So your water part is removed as steam. Next is pyrolysis. So after drying, biomass undergoes heating. So pyrolysis is basically a sort of heating without the presence of oxygen. Heating of material, heating of biomass without the presence of oxygen is called pyrolysis. Understand? Without the presence of oxygen is called pyrolysis. You keep this definition. As a result, the biomass is decomposed and separated into solids, liquids, and gases. So you get 3 products. You get a solid, you get a liquid, and you get a gas. You can collect them. Okay, solid part is charcoal, and liquid part is called tar or coal tar, and gas part is called fuel gas. Understand? So 3 parts are getting. You are getting your waste now gets separated into 3 type of useful compounds. Very very interesting results. And now after pyrolysis, you go for oxygen because you got a lot of gas component, and air is introduced into the gasifier after the decomposition process, and during oxidation, which takes place around at 1400 degrees Celsius, charcoal reacts with oxygen in the air to produce carbon dioxide and heat. Okay, charcoal you can burn out in the presence of oxygen, you get the heat energy. Okay, and you can also do reduction at high temperature under reduction condition when not enough oxygen is given. Following reaction takes place to form carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane. From the waste, you can do this process. Okay, so you get a very good useful product that is called methane. CH4 is called methane. So you are deriving a very useful fuel, a very useful gaseous fuel. Methane, it can exist either as gas or liquid under appropriate pressure. If you apply high pressure, methane you can keep in cylinders, just like our cooking gas. Okay, cooking gas. Keep in mind, cooking gas is not methane, but methane you can keep in cooking gas form, in gas cylinder, in compressed form. Okay, so the methane is one of the byproduct of gasification process. Okay, keep in mind we are doing it with a waste product, waste biomass, either from plastic material or from other biomass products. So advantage of gasification is that it produces a fuel that has the least pollution problem when burned. Okay, under suitable condition, it can also produce synthetic gas or syngas, which is a mixture of carbon monoxide, hydrogen, which can be used to make hydrocarbon. Okay, syngas has so many applications. You can simply burn it for getting heat energy. You can use it in gas turbine to get electricity. Understand? Gas turbine, where you are burning, you are making use of syngas. Or using syngas, chemistry people may be knowing, this syngas can be chemically reactivated, and you get a lot of useful products. Okay, in organic chemistry, they decompose syngas and get so many chemical products made of pharmaceutical, fertilizers and other reagents they get from syngas. Okay. And hydrogen itself is a potential fuel without much pollution which can substitute petroleum in near future. We have seen that hydrogen is one of the byproduct. So, and that is the best fuel available in the world because it is having the highest heat capacity. And it is one of the byproduct of this gasification. Okay, so syngas is very lot of industrial importance around the world. You produce in enormous quantity by many countries in the world, including India, and its composition can slightly vary depending on the raw materials. Okay, different plant variety, different biomass variety. You can use plastic, you can use biomass like like the alga. Okay, different varieties of mosses and available in the water. Okay, like hyacinth, water hyacinth, or African moss, like that. Many varieties of hyacinths are available. From that, you can make syngas. Many waste products, many wood products, different woods are there. So, different wood variety give different kinds of syngas. Similarly, different plastic waste from which also you can make syngas. So, depending on the source, origin product, source product material, the composition of syngas may slightly vary. Anyhow, the rough composition is given here. A normal syngas contains around 30 to 60% carbon monoxide, 25 to 30% hydrogen gas, and 5 to 50% carbon dioxide, and 0 to 5% methane. So these are the four components usually present in syngas. Understand? Carbon monoxide, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. And their percentage may vary depending on the type of initial product, initial biomaterial you have used. And you may know that syngas can be widely used to produce various other gases. Even methyl alcohol you can make. CH3 oil is called methyl alcohol. Or you can make ammonia, or you can make hydrogen gas. So these are of wide application in various chemical industries and agricultural area. So keep in mind, you whenever you get time, you go through internet and study various other applications of syngas in our industrial and other day-to-day applications, agricultural area. Okay. So now is the pyrolysis. This is another way to convert biomass into useful material. Pyrolysis is the process of roasting of biomass in the absence of oxygen to remove volatile matter, leaving charcoal. So you get here this chamber is hot, very hot, around 1000 degrees Celsius. You keep the material here, no oxygen is fed here, and from outside you are heating up it. Okay, heating up it. So what happens? Some chemical changes happens, and they convert into charcoal. This charcoal is just like coal. They find immense application in industrial and other domestic applications, hospitals, heating applications, and in power with energy, and in textile industry, chemical industry. So there is a lot of application for this charcoal. So this is a pyrolysis chamber. In fact, this process will double the energy density of the original material because charcoal, which is half the weight of original biomass, contains the same amount of energy, making the fuel more transportable. Okay, so you can transport much easily. Suppose you transport wood. Wood contains a lot of water, so transportation cost goes waste. Instead of that, if you take into pyrolysis wood, then the resulting product contains no water. So you can store enormous amount in a given load of vehicle, and you can transport it very easily. So you can save money, you can save energy like that. So this is a big business in many countries, converting wood and other biomass material into charcoal form. Okay. So different materials are used to make a charcoal. Charcoal also burns at a much higher temperature than the original biomass. So making it more useful for manufacturing process. Suppose you are using for cooking purpose, so you need a very small amount of charcoal for your cooking. Instead of that, if you are using normal wood, you need lot of heavy amount of wood. So charcoal need less space to store it. So many sophisticated pyrolysis techniques are developed recently to collect volatiles that are otherwise lost out. And in modern techniques, when you do pyrolysis, there is a lot of evaporation takes place. Many gases are evaporated from the wood. So those gases can be collected and condensed and stored in the form of liquid. Understand? So modern pyrolysis has a lot of advanced technologies used. Because of that, there is no pollution. There is no pollution. All outgoing gases are collected and condensed. So that can be also reused. Okay. Collected volatiles produce gas which is rich in nitrogen and carbon, and these compounds are synthesized into methane, methanol, and other hydrocarbons. Okay, so these are all finding application in various other chemical industries, either pharmaceuticals or in agro products or any other construction purpose. Okay. Finally, you may have a doubt. We studied about pyrolysis as well as gasification. What exactly is the difference between gasification and pyrolysis? Few people may have a doubt. So I want to clarify it. Okay. First comes the pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is the thermal decomposition of volatile components of a organic substance in the temperature range of 200 to 760, and in the absence of oxygen, forming syngas and other liquids or gases. So it is an indirect source of heat is used. A mixture of unreacted carbon char, okay, and ash remains as residual. The basic difference is in the heating process. In pyrolysis, no oxygen is given and temperature is in the 200 to 700 degrees Celsius. Understand? But when you go to gasification, in gasification temperature is very high, around 1650 degrees. Very high, tremendously high temperature. And here not only wood, many other materials are being gasified. Okay. Pyrolysis is especially done for wood materials, but gasification you can do for many plastic materials and many other biomaterials. Okay, so in addition to thermal decomposition, volatile components of the substance that will remain from pyrolysis converted to additional syngas. Here syngas is also made and steam is also used. Steam may also added to the gasifier to convert the carbon into syngas. So you see the difference. We are using steam also here, but in pyrolysis, no steam is used. Okay, steam is mixed with the gases and some chemical process take place. So you get so many varieties of gas products from a gasification. Whereas the product variety available in pyrolysis is less in number, whereas the product variety available or the industrial significance of gasification is much higher than that of pyrolysis. Okay. So in gasification, we use a very small fraction of oxygen that would be needed to burn the material. But in pyrolysis, we are not using any sort of oxygen. That is one of the major difference. And gasification is comparatively a modern technique, whereas pyrolysis is a very century-old technique. You have seen pyrolysis technique even used in your rural villages. Okay, just woods are heated in controlled oxygen situation. Okay, wood is initially piled up and some wood mud is pasted over it, then it is gradually heated. Okay, that kind of technique you must have seen in your villages, but gasification is an advanced industrial process that you cannot see in any village. Okay, that you can see only in industrial plants, and some of the video I have posted in your WhatsApp group. You just watch it and get embarrassed or surprised by the technology enhancement or the importance of chemistry in our day-to-day life. Okay, so now here is your assignment. A simple assignment is given. What is gasification and what are the steps involved in gasification? Okay, so you make a brief report in a A4 page and submit as assignment. Okay, so with these comments, let us conclude this module. And again in the next module also we will continue with the biomass material and its various conversion processes. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you all of you. Thank you.